Um, all right. Today, make it go live right there. Bang, bang, bang. Oh, this thing only got 2 minutes. Okay, definitely not doing that. Different phone. All right. Record to the cloud. Today, I'm actually running the digits on a property that is near and dear to my heart. This is actually my childhood home up in Philadelphia, and we're going to be talking to we're actually going to be talking to that person's in sub two, right, Ken?
Yes, so I posted it on Discord. I just kind of said like 6 bed, 2 bath property, like just gave the address and I was like, who's interested? Like text me, call me, and
Yeah.
someone
Did you
texted.
did he say that? Did you tell him that it was like in bad shape and whatnot?
I think it was, yeah, pretty sure.
Okay.
I was like, yeah.
All right, we'll figure it out. All right, so today I'm going to be running the numbers on 2515 North 11th Street, which is my childhood home. What I'm looking for in this particular case is I know that this home is in bad shape. It's in pretty rough shape, in fact. It's been in my family for 41 years. And so this will be the 42nd year, and I really, really, really want to do everything in my power to not have this leave my family. Um, and so this is me doing the work to make sure that I can keep this in my family, right? What I've done already is we've run some initial comps. What we're doing is we're updating those comps for a call this afternoon because we're doing is we're updating this comps for a call this afternoon to talk about it with someone who hopefully would be interested in helping us, i.e., coming in as a partner and investor instead of just buying it from us as a wholesaler. And the discussion within that is that I really don't want to get rid of it. It's not really part of my plan. So, what I see in here is, of course, you got the subject property. It's zoned RM1, 6 bed, 2 bath, 2,088 feet, built in 1930, and it's in an estate undergoing probate. There's about $40,000 of debt and liens in the estate between credit card debt and my late father's name, among a number of other things and claims against the estate, as well as liens, some of which have payment plans that we've been continually paying down in there. All right. Last time I checked, oh, on top of that, there's also 2513 North 11th Street, which is a vacant lot that is actually immediately next to the subject property, and there's a fence around it. So if you take a look at the pictures here, this is the home right here, this 3-story row home, and then onto the side here, there is a fence that covers the entirety of that lot, as well as a little bit off to the side, but that's yet to be seen. Really, what I care about right now is pulling up on Privy, dropping down to the comparables and seeing if there's any new comparables. Right? A lot of activity
Paris,
in this space. What's up, babe?
I was gonna say I just put in the chat what I said on the post. If you want
Okay.
to look.
Aha. All right. Thank you. All right. I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, Kenzie posted Paris. She said, I said on the post, I have a house in Philly in 19133 that I'm looking to partner with someone to rehab and stabilize 6 bed house. Not very familiar with the area who's in. Okay, appreciate that, Kenzo. I love you, and that helps a lot. So what I'm doing right now is I'm pulling up Privy, which is one of the tools that I use on the investing side. There's a bit of activity. There's one pending here. 2515. Wait a minute. What? Oh, okay. I was about to say, like, that one better not be pending. 2216 North 15th Street, so just over a half-mile away, pending at 295. But take a quick peek at that one. This is a 2-story, not that far away, but something to look into. If I go back into sold, I want to see what's sold most recently. There's some in here as recently as 828. Okay, some less than half a mile. We got some good items in here. On the low side, we see 60K. That's 2341 North Carlisle, 0.37 miles away. A bit smaller, and so it's within the range, but I wouldn't really aim for this. A little bit smaller. The lots about the same size, built the same year, and so depending on the status, the as-is value somewhere between 60K, like this one, and 125K, which is up here at 726 West Lehigh. Let's go take a look. So here we go. So now this is a 3-story on Lehigh Avenue. I actually know exactly where this is. I know exactly where this is. Okay, cool. A 4 bed. So this one's identified as a 4 bed, 1 bath, and that's partly because more than likely some of this space on the third floor Some of the space on the third floor was not fully converted, or they undid some of that work potentially. So for 125 as is vacant. Curious as to what the actual inside looks like, but yeah, other than that, for the most part, it looks the same. And so within here, we see a number of things, right? We see the comp sitting here. I see at 360. I see at 388 over here on Lehigh Ave again. Another 3, 4, fantastic. Um, a little bit bigger, and this is an interesting one. So this one's corporate owned. I think this one is a rehab, but let's pull up the external listing and see what the work looks like. Yep, freshly renovated, 6 units that are rented with a total rent 5,237. And so there you go. Mostly, well, the wording is all dorked up. Mostly 1 bedroom units. This unit is very stable, quiet, property in good condition. All mechanics are tight, great value, full agreement, proof of funds required. All offers are presented, and 10,000 funds with financial strength required. Okay, yada yada. The rental homes, yeah, okay. All units have a lead test, which is important in Philly, listed by Michael Cohen. Good information in this particular one. And so it makes sense. If we take a quick look at the comps, they put LVP. So they actually did not put they didn't actually put HVAC in this one. So this is interesting. Right. You've got the old white appliances. This is gas. They did a simple rehab. They've got 6 separate meters in the basement. They did not finish the basement, as I can see. Um, but yeah, they put some LVP, they did some painting. They don't have any HVAC because they still have the air conditioning units in the home and the radiators in the home. So there's still a boiler in the basement. But they did go through the work of separating they did go through the work of metering and separating the electric, right? The gas and electric. Okay. So very interesting. I mean, the house doesn't look great, but it also doesn't look terrible. And so there's at least 1 unit in here that's not completely redone. So it looks like, how many units? Did it say how many units? 6 units that are all rented. So in this particular structure, there's 6 individual units that one was. I'm curious as to how they did that floor plan, but that's a good note. So that's a 387. It's 387. This one's showing as 4 bed, 6 bath with 3717 square feet. And so this one, according to these numbers, this one is bigger in size, but it's 1-1 throughout. What I would do is, I'm definitely going to take this one and look at the comparables. But what I would want to do with 2515 is make it 3 3 2s, right? So this one is a 6 unit apartment, which is super duper interesting at 387. What I would look for is 3 3 bedroom apartments, right? 3 families in the same home, in the same structure on each level. There's a couple properties. That support that we had, but we'll get down into it. All right, so that one's not bad. I like that one. So we're looking at a 387. Looking at a 387, 388 for that one. Let's see this one over here. 1236. So 1236. So this one is one of the wider homes in Philly. There's a couple different models here. This one is still a row home. However, it has the porch, unlike the other one that we looked at. So it's not quite the same structure. But let's go take a look at the external listing. Right. Another, again, obviously rehab. Okay. So another obvious rehab. Take a look at the photos. This one is a 2-story. As we're looking at it. It's got the covered porch. All right. Oh no, this one is a 3-story. Okay, very well. Okay, it's on that part. All right, all right. So the porch, they put the security system in there. They've got fire. I think that's a requirement for multifamily in the city nowadays. Got the back of the house, and so there you go, another rehab, right? They put some LVP down. They have a little bit of a step here. Interesting why that is. A niche put out for the sink and the stove space. Oh, this is interesting because this is what this should be. This is actually the front of the house, unless I'm confused. Um, that's very, very interesting. I'm not sure why that is, but okay. All right, there's some very interesting things here. We've got the wall units as far as heating and cooling. So, okay. All right, I see that. They've got a little bit of step up here. They did some wall work there a little bit. Again, LVP. There's some things in here that definitely would need to be touched up. Well, it was sold, so maybe it wasn't. Very interesting. Okay, so they got the dogs on the windows and doors. That's the door and window guard system. And so they wrap around and latch into the actual frame of the house so you don't have any intruders. So that's a fair sign for this particular home in this particular area. It's one of those things that if the home was in better shape, we would move forward with, but that's another story for another time. So what I'm seeing here is that what they did was they built these niches. They built these niches to receive the. Well, no, this one is this is a 3 story. They built these niches to receive a kitchenette, and so and this property, this is obviously a multifamily. What they did on the second story is they built in the water lines and the actual kitchen stuff in the in this niche area here. So on the first floor, the kitchen was placed in the front of the house down here. On the second floor, it appears to be in that second space up there. And then I didn't see if it was 3, right? It's 5 1-bedroom units with the rent 4,700. And so here's another one. This one is 5 1-bedrooms. That's very interesting. And so it looks like they just put a bunch of kitchens all throughout there. That's super duper interesting with a rent of 4,705. And so if we just do some snapshot math real quick, right? 4,705 divided by 5 is $941 per 1-bedroom unit. If I go back to my source document that we had originally captured, we had Carlisle 2341. Some of these are a little bit older, so we got to update these for sure. All of these counts were from back in 2022, so we're definitely gonna update these. There was one that was an active listing here, and this was a 6-bed, 3-bath triplex. What happened with this one? 1424 York Street. It was pending the last time we looked at it. What happened with this one? It's not for sale right now, of course. That's an estimate. What happened with the sale? The listing was removed in 2023, so it looks like it didn't sell. So it was sold in 2020. It was listed for sale at 300. It was pending. They moved up to 350, went back down to 300, went up to 310, and then the listing was removed. I'm super curious about that one, but I'm not going to pursue it. So maybe what that means in this context is that the price point for the 3-bed, 2-baths didn't hold, or maybe an investor got a hold of it beforehand. All right. Super interesting, super interesting. Okay. All right, so if I go back in here, super interesting. So go back in here, what I'm looking at, and let me go into Privy. So each of these right now, these are 4-bed units. Because of the way that Privy is structured, it's actually not showing me the 6-unit apartments. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna update the settings here. I'm gonna go into 6+, single and multifamily. I'm gonna hit save and I'm gonna see what it shows me. Because I want to look at properties that have those 6 units, and this is showing me that there's none that are recorded at that specific size. And it's not necessarily a great thing. Let me see, take this off. I wonder how many units. Let's see, 3 units. I want to see 3 units in a property, and so it's not showing me anything. Now, what that means, what that's actually telling me is that there's not necessarily a hard data line that's showing them as it's not. I don't have a hard data target that's showing those sales in that way. What I would like to do is let me check out prop. I think it should already be logged in. Fingers crossed. Anybody in prop right now?
No, I'm not.
Awesome. Oh,
Yeah, you can
yeah,
sign me.
somebody is. Can I sign you out? All right, quick. I
Mhm.
appreciate it, brother. I'm just gonna hop in here real quick. Just take a peeky peek. All right, see what prop has. 2015. Okay. All right, so based on the value, prop says is about 150,000. Cool. I see the neighbors, the sales. All right. I want to see these details. Analysis. The average comp in the area is 22,000. What I want to look at is, oh, that's not what I want to do. here we go. Comparables and listings. Look in here. I really just want to see what has sold. I'll go into status, drop that down. So yeah, it's a lot of the same ones. And this is in size and shape. And it's interesting because it's actually giving me the ones outside of the range. There are some close by, like Jessup Street sold right there, but it's actually using some of the other properties. Why did it not use number one?
Scroll to the right, you can see more information. There you go.
Okay, sweet. Can I zoom out on this? No, it's all good. So some of these were bought cash. I can see that cash deals, cash deals. Looking at the distance, that's what I want to look at. So Jessup, so Jessup, okay, that makes sense. So yeah, there's a bunch in here.
Can you not scroll that left side over the middle line?
This part here?
Yeah.
No, no, no.
Okay.
This one's actually fixed right now. I
Yes,
think
you can.
what
There
I
you
can
go.
do is, oh,
There
okay,
you
that's
go.
what you're saying. Yeah, because
Yeah,
I
you
don't
can
really.
drag.
All right, cool. Oh, right, because I can minimize. Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Thank you for that. I don't really care about this line. Property type is all townhomes. I cares about moving this one over. Bed bath count. I don't really care about that. Photos, don't really care. Can I just control? Oh, here we go. This is what I care about. All right, so I don't really care about photo type. Status, I care about. Sale date, sale market, don't care about that. Square footage, okay. Lot square foot, yeah. Price per square foot, don't care. Sale situation, cool. Multi-parcel,
You could also do it on the left side as well.
can I? Ah, yes.
The
Awesome.
date range and the square footage and everything.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely play with that one. So public record sold. So with prop, there's two line items. There's MLS sold. That means it was sold on market, and then there's public record sold. And so what this tells me is if it was an investor or it was an agent that bought. If it was sold uh off market person to person, or if it was an agent, which is something that I love that prop shows me. And so I can see based on these particular ones. Let me go to the distance. And this is kind of what I'm looking at, right? So the two closest sales were on market, bought with an agent, and they have similar shape and size, or at least the square footage on this one, right? 5 bed, and then there's Jessup Street. All right, that makes sense. Similar in size and shape, same year, yada yada yada. They were as is. The first one was as is at 1,009. I mean, 100,000, 109,000. And this is actually on the back side. This address is on the back side of the street. Jessup is the street. Jessup is the street on the other side of 11th Street. And then Germantown Avenue, it's a little bit further away. I think that's the one that we're looking at up there. And so this one was a little bit more recent, sold on market. And there was Germantown Ave down here, bought off market by an investor. So there's some investor activity here. I see a 586. What is this one? Investor activity bought 1915. What is this one? Let's pull that up. Let's take a looky look. Dun, 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 dun. All right. This one's next to a church. I know exactly where this is. Man, I'm having flashbacks, dude. Okay. Load up. 503. Still got about 20 minutes until my call. So nothing actually hard. uh, Nothing actually hard set as far as comps go. What I did, we are starting to see the picture as far as the opportunity though. So this one is a full rehab. That's what I'm seeing, and it looks like it was the whole home, just based from one of those pictures down there. But let's check the data. This one is not on market right now. Listed for sale, and then it was sold within just short of 30 days. So that's not going to give me the pictures. Put up on Redfin. Redfin going to give me the pictures. Looks like they will not. Maybe. Nope. Oh man. And so that's super interesting. It looks like what they ended up doing is that's actually super duper interesting because I never actually knew what they looked like in the basement there. Or maybe this was like a back area like this other one over here. I don't know. But it looks like this is the unit. And it was broken out at the back under in the subterranean level, but it's not actually showing me any images. That's not necessarily helpful for what I'm trying to get after right now. Let me see. Trulia. Is Trulia going to show me the photos I want? I see one of them is cached here. Trulia is not showing me the photo that I want. And this one is because this one was not listed on market. Or maybe this one was. Right, this one was on market. Or was it off? Go back and pop. I'm looking at 1424. 1224. 1224 was public record. So it was handled off market. And so why is there no, so this 1224 one may not have been, it may have already been owned and renovated because I'm not seeing a set of photos for it. But I'm seeing a set of photos, but it's not cached and um, it's not cached on Google. And so I can see to some degree that the home was up and it was visible, but now I'm not able to see those images, which isn't really helpful, but it's not the end of the world. I believe is looking at the level of finishes, that that one may have been um, full property. Not going to run down a rabbit hole on that one. I spent a bunch of time on it. So what am I seeing here? I'm seeing the as-is values for some properties at 2,028 square feet can get up to the space of 100, 150, um, and down to the space of 50,000. You see a lot of these off-market purchases in the 50 and 60,000 square foot space. This one over here in Marvine, which is two tenths, almost 3/10 of a mile away. This one over here sold for about 60,000 as is. What happens in this particular area is, and there we go, right? This one's a full renovation. Um, was this one? This one's a 2-bed, 1 bath, so it's a little kitchenette area. They've got custom wrought iron railings. That's a nice little backsplash they got there. You know, baseboard heating and units. Looks like there's HVAC throughout now. I don't see any radiators, so they cut and cap the radiators. They put carpet on the stairs to upstairs, custom tile shower over the tub, um, private backyard. They poured some slab on in the backyard back here. They have some drainage on to the sides. They also added a fence. Looks like they re-stuccoed the back of the home. Yeah. Okay. And these are additional pictures. That's not. And that one is a 2-1. That is a 2-1. No, it's not. So now it's showing as a 7-1 though. So that's really interesting. Is there the the prop show me the MLS details for Once Upon a Time? Oh, Number Realty Group. That's awesome. No, it does not. So they bought it in February of this year for 60,000. And then this one shows as a fail. That's really interesting. It failed to sell at 349. And so it was listed for 6 months and then they lost it. Or what happened here? It says it was active and then it's gone. It's still up. I don't really care. I'm just curious. What I'm trying to validate right now is whether or not the the opportunity to potentially sell out of it exists. And if so, that means that somebody might be interested. Looks like it didn't sell. As I'm seeing it. Details. That's really important because I'm trying to sell it. If anything, that's better. So yeah, it was listed 349. Then the listing was removed less than a month later. Okay. So yeah, they obviously did the work. So they turned this into what appears to have been a 7-bed, but it looks like it was built to be one family, one home. Right, this stair, I only see one kitchen, and they just had enough space for one family. The problem there though is that you only have one family there, and so altogether they'd have to be a higher income family. And when you look at the demographics in the area, it might not necessarily align with the model that you got to go for, right? All right, yeah, definitely don't want to price out the families in the area, right? That's a near and dear to my heart thing. So, okay, so that helped me understand some of that. Let me close this one. Open that boy back up. So I see a 4-1 over here. 4-1, let me see, it's a lot of square footage. Sort this by square foot. I'm presuming that many of the ones that would be larger in size and closer will be similar. Some of these are a little bit lower in the bed bath count, but I think that's because the person who did the work probably rightfully presumed that they wanted to make sure that, well, what it might be is it might be like a 3-2, a 3-2, a 2-1, and then a 1-1, right? Which is another model that we identified when we were doing some of the research. Um, Let me look at for a second. New construction. So we had 513 North 7th Street. Has this one been completed? Okay, so this is one that sold on 7/10/23. This one looks like it's done now. It says it's vacant, but I don't think it actually is anymore. Yeah, here we go. So showing us off market. So here's a home. It's a 2-2 within 513 North 7th Street. And so, okay, here we go. Oh, this is good. So the ones that we had recorded before, they're done now. And so this is a 2-2, but it's within an entire unit, right? As I can see it. So this is 513 North 7th Street, number 2. This particular property is 750. And so how many were in here? No, didn't mean to do that. I think it was 3. Right, go back to the thing. Yeah, it was, no, was it 3? So there was 2 in the North 7. There was 2 in that one. I think that this one here was a 2 or 3-plex. Now, what we found is that there's a company, JPL Construction Inc., that was actively doing work within the community here, creating multifamily properties. And so what they did was they would go buy these properties at, if I go check the price point here, they were doing is they would, oh, this one's, and so here we go. It was listed for rent in March at 1,500. Then they reduced the rent to 1,350, and the listing was removed. So it very likely rented at 1,350. So rental comp at 1,350 for that fresh renovation. So that's 1,350 for the 3-2. Update that one. Very interested to see what happened with the other one there. Okay, so we had a couple comps in here that were already existing. There's 3-bed, 2-bath comps. I'm gonna have to definitely update these. We had some questions as far as what the conversation could be. Really interesting. And so here was another one. There was another active one at 2241 North Camac. What happened with this one? Oh man, did not mean to close that. Yeah, they did not give me all the information here. It's a little challenging. This is 744, 800. I need to know what the structure of this property is. Is it a set of, is it a duplex? Is it a triplex? It's a 3-unit new construction. There we go. So a 3-unit new construction completed in 2022. It was 2 and 3 bedroom layouts. So there's at least 1 2-bed in there. And this one actually sold for 744,000. And so this one in the best conversation, there we go. So the 2-bath was 750, the 2-2 was 750 square feet. And then presuming, I gotta go through the details. Presuming that the 3-bed, the other 2 were 3-bed, presumably. So here's rent ranges for the nearby apartments. That's kind of cool. That's very helpful. So a 3-bed at 1,400 square feet, it's running 2104. This 2-bed at 1,02704 is running 750 to 2301. That's a huge spread. So that's not particularly helpful. But I think that really what we're looking at here is on the lowest side, this is in multifamily level apartments. And then on the high side, this is a single home. So a 4-bed home is probably running on the higher side. Whereas if I have a home that is 4 beds rented out individually, it's running at $500 a month, which sounds exactly like Philadelphia to me. That makes sense. That other example that we had, it was like a seven in that 5-bedroom home we were looking at. It was like not $800 per room. This is within 4 minutes or 1.5 miles of Temple University, which I also knew, right? My home is a straight shot down into Temple University campus. And then, of course, the schools aren't the best, but a lot of that has a lot to do with the eroded tax base. If you look at the um, plot maps in Philly, what you'll see is that a lot of the homes, especially in this area in Hartran, 19133, a lot of the homes are actually, or a lot of the lots are actually completely vacant, right? There's no property on them at all. And so when you have a particular block of a stretch of the street that has 60% of the homes as lots, those lots are likely not producing taxable income. They're not feeding the local population. They're not feeding the local support system in terms of the school, the fire department, and all of those other social services that you might have in the inner city. So this is actually a very helpful comp. Definitely need to know what specifically they did here, but this is very valuable. It also tells me what that tax history, that tax cost would be if this were the case. Or, oh no, this is a brand new build, so they probably have a tax abatement. That's super duper interesting. Super duper interesting. So yeah, something to look at here. That's very, very interesting. Yeah, they still have a tax abatement, apparently. Something to look at, right? So 490 and tax 2023. Something to look at. Take a note. See, I'm gonna save that one. So definitely want to. No, it's not my home. Save that one. All right, so that's good. That one sold. And so it was active. What's really cool is that it was active at 553, but it actually sold at, oh, Kenzie's home. Hello there. It actually sold at this price point. And so let's do this. Let me highlight this one. Cut this one out. This is now a sold, multifamily home sold. And so put this up here. I will add the information in that one. This one sold on 7. Oh, I lost it. There she is. This sold when? Where is it? 7/10/23. So that property sold 7/10/23. So we're still within the window. That is good to know. Now we'll get the rest of that information when we get there. So 744, 800. I'll get the rest of that information. 7/4/2023. Why is this important? This is super important because, well, we need to make sure that we can see and say, welcome home, love. Well, we need to make sure that we can see and say and point to that there are properties within the area. Okay. Within the area that are of similar size and shape and structure and composition, i.e. multifamily properties that sold for the same amount or for a desirable amount, or that there is some demand signal. And so what we're seeing here is that this one, again, this one was listed originally. Well, they actually listed it for 850 way back. They did not get 850. And then over the course of looks like a year, they walked down on the target. They removed it at 775. So they listed it at 850. Then they walked it down to 775. So what's that? Like 75 grand reduction or whatever. I don't do math in public. Sorry. Then they brought it back onto the market a few days later at 750. So they reset that counter. They probably were getting a bunch of sub 2 offers. And then they ended up selling it at 744, which was probably the most reasonable in there anyway. So that's good to know. And then what Zillow will also do for me, since I'm already in here, Zillow should also show me variable sales in here. So we've got number 2 and number 3. So I see 3 units within here. 2513 number 2 is a 2-2. 2513 number 3 is a 2-2. And so what that means for me is if you look at the structure of the home here, the first floor is a 3-bed, second floor is a 2-bed, the third floor is a 2-bed. And so that's a 3-2, 2-2, 2-2, which is good information. Those 2-2s bring in probably 1350. So 1350 times 2, that's 2700. And then I'm going to presume for a moment that that 3-2 brings in about, I'll call it 1500 to be conservative. So that's 4200 a month. On the lower side, more than likely, but that's yet to be seen. And so this one is, design is a 3-2, 3-2, 2-2, 2-2. 2241 North Camac is a 3-2-2. It's smaller, right? It's a it is a 1358 according to this record here. 1348 square feet. Got the design here. As far as going to get the kids, I'll still pick them up. Can you start the call so I can go get them and come back in?
I was okay. Well, I was gonna
Is
say
that
what we could do is since you're doing this, you could take the call. I could introduce you, and then
okay? Oh yeah, okay, very well.
What do you feel? How do you
I'm
feel?
fine with that, and I appreciate you.
Since you're doing you're analyzing.
1348. Okay, 5. So this was 552 per square foot. 552.52. 552.52. And so obviously I want to get more comps, and I definitely will do that. But if we're looking at this price per square footage, I've got to double check the just the price per square foot's good. I got to double check the distance, and I'll put that in there. Right now we've got one fair comp within the timeline that we're looking at. If I look at the price per square foot, the price per square foot will go down based on this because the size of the property is much larger, and I won't just extrapolate there. I don't want to do it, but if we're talking about just direct, I mean, this is allegedly $1 million property. I think that that's a little bit overinflated. I think the 744, I think that like we were looking at originally, and the probably 800 space because of the additional square footage would be great. One thing that we don't see in these particular pictures is whether the basement is finished. And so my idea for this property for 2515 would be to have the first floor and the basement become one 3-bed, 2-bath unit. The second floor extends all the way back to the rear end of the house, right? And so this one appears to not necessarily do that. Maybe it's the angle here. 2515 has a full second story all the way through. And then the third floor is the shortened one. So I'm looking at potentially a full 3-2 on the first floor, a full 3-2 on the second floor, and then potentially a 2-2 on the third floor with the rooftop access point that would add value in that particular space. Something to look at. So we've got one fair, strong, right? It's recently, it's close enough. What was that? 2513. What's the spacing on that one? 2513. 2513. It's not even actually on the list. That's interesting enough. Okay. Yeah, so there's a, did I stop that? So yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to continue the search here. I think it's hopeful. I'm hopeful on this one. And really the discussion as we walk into it is really just seeing what this person's capacity is, what their interest in the area is. There's definitely a lot of possibility in here. obviously, well, not necessarily obviously. From our perspective, this is it's an opportunity zone as identified by the city of Philadelphia, and then there's also a lot of opportunity for good here. I think this is really like a passion project. Someone has to be intending to do something good here, and what I don't want to do is I don't want to price out the community in this particular area, right? I think that that would be the biggest mistake, and I think that's something that I personally want to avoid. And so, yeah, we will see how this one goes. I see a number of interesting ones here as far as size, within the range that I would consider viable. 5 minutes to the call. The number that I see within the range that I would call viable as far as the bed bath count. This one here has 9 beds in it allegedly, and it's a little bit. I actually don't really. I'm not going to do that because Philly is really street by street, right? Like it's if you go out too far, then you're not really getting the activity that you're looking for. Um, and so looking at the map here, this is something else that is somewhat of a concern. I can see the subject property here. This is it, number one. And a lot of the activity is over to the northwest up here in Germantown, right? Clymer Elementary. I actually went to school to that school, so that's really interesting. There's a lot of activity around there, which makes sense, and a lot of those comps over there, which makes sense. Down here to the southwest, across Lehigh Ave, I wouldn't really call these. I'm hesitant to call these comps, and I'm also, to a degree, hesitant to call the ones north of Somerset, right? Somerset and Lehigh Ave specifically, right? The street right here. These are what, in my experience, I would call these major thoroughfares. And so, really, what I'm looking at as far as numbers go is I'm looking at 1 and 2, which don't really give me too much. Right. I'm looking at 1 and 2. I see 7 over here, which is not included in there. That's an as is. That makes sense. What's this one behind 7? Is that a 9? Number 9. Number 9 gives me 180. And so this is going to be a discussion that, being transparent might not necessarily be fully fruitful. I do see 15 and 17 over here, which appear to have been lot sale for 17 and an as is value for 15. And then number 19, you believe is over here. Oh, 15's over there.
Are those properties?
They're within the range. They're less than a half mile. So 15 is 0.34, 17 is 0.37. Yeah, everything on the screen is less than a half mile. Again, the thing is that, yeah, but the thing is that, like, just knowing the area, and this is something that we're going to talk about with the guy and to see if he lives there, if he invests there, or whatever the case is that it is block by block, street by street, right? And so, yeah, we'll talk about it. I think that I'm hopeful, right? Some of these properties that we had already identified aren't necessarily captured here by prop, but this gave me a lot of background information. Um, I see this new construction here. That's great, but it's not necessarily what I would use. I think it's red because it tracks from it's non-conforming rather. And yeah, we will see. We will see. I think there's a lot of chance here. But that's why we're doing it, right? Trying to create value where they're trying to trying to bring the value to light and add it where it is. Um, yeah, I believe. I believe. Damn, the drop in is still over there. That's crazy. That's not where the drop in is. It should be over here. Whatever. Yeah. All right, guys. So we're gonna stop the recording here. We're gonna drop out of Zoom. Well, actually, are we taking it on the? Oh yeah, okay. I will call him on the thing, and so I'm gonna stop the recording. Um, stop the recording here, and I'll take it on the thing. Stop the recording. Where are you?